Thanks in no small part to his enduring pop culture value and the way that cowboy guns look super cool, Wyatt Earp's legacy as a lawman and stone-cold pistol-whipping American badass continues to live on nearly a century after his death. But how did the life of the gambler, gunfighter, and legend in his own time, Wyatt Earp, come to a close? Chronic cystitis, or for the layman, a nasty UTI. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Wyatt Earp was born March 19, 1848 in Monmouth, Illinois, and relocated with his family a year later to Pella, Iowa. At 13, he reportedly tried on multiple occasions to run away from home and enlist in the Union Army, but his father always found him and put him back to work on the family farm.
I'm going to enlist, Pa. I want to fight the Rebs with James and Verge. I'm ready.
Are you?
Earp would spend the majority of his adult life on the move, going from town to town across the United States working in a variety of fields, including hauling freight and grading rail for the Union Pacific Railroad. His first recorded job in law enforcement came when his father resigned as the constable of Lamar, Missouri, and Earp was appointed as his replacement. Contrary to the image portrayed in popular culture, Earp wasn't always a force for law and order. After the death of his wife in 1870, he was accused of failing to turn in funds collected for the local school board, then arrested on charges of horse theft. Instead of standing trial, he climbed through the open roof of his jail cell and booked it for Peoria. Earp's life was intensely multifaceted, and it would take hours to get into the full details of his work as a brothel bouncer, silver miner, card dealer, and, if the movies are to be believed, a lawman who had quite a way with words.
Your friends might get me in a rush, but not before I make your head into a canoe, you understand me?
Today, he's best known for his involvement in the gunfight at the OK Corral and the ensuing violence that was part gang war, part vendetta ride. The shootout and the events surrounding it are still remembered to this day, an oversimplified tale of good versus evil, right versus wrong, and a grim reminder that Kevin Costner had a really difficult time making a good movie there for a while. Wyatt was the last participant of the gunfight at the OK Corral still standing when he finally passed away in 1929. At 80 years old, he had a good run, especially considering how much of his life was spent with bullets flying around his person, and had survived what was arguably a more dangerous situation than any shootout: his involvement in a professional sports scandal. In 1896, Earp refereed a boxing championship between two of the preeminent fighters in the world, Bob Fitzsimmons and Tom Sharkey. Earp called the fight for Sharkey after announcing a blow below the belt that nobody in the audience seemed to witness. In the ensuing court cases, a conspiracy to rig the fight was revealed, and Earp became synonymous across the United States with corruption. He held on to his reputation as a crooked referee long after his death. Helped in large part by the publication of an aggrandizing biography and the birth of Western feature films, Earp started to redefine himself as Old West royalty. Even with all of this, when he passed away from a urinary tract infection in 1929, he was still considered by many to be less of a frontier hero and more of a punk who ruined a lot of people's Wednesday nights when he messed up the bets they had on whatever the 19th century equivalent to pay-per-view was. In the end, what can be learned from the life and death of Wyatt Earp? That's a complicated question, but here's one takeaway. Encourage your grandparents to make an appointment with their urologist before it's too late, because UTIs are astonishingly common during old age and, if left unchecked, can lead to life-threatening infections.
That's a promise.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more grunge videos about your favorite historical figures are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.